Hello and welcome to the latest edition of BundesSpeaker, the German football podcast from fresh off the Gegenpress. I'm Ali, I'm here with Axel as always. We've got another interesting show lined up for you today. We'll start as always by talking about a couple of the results that really caught our eye from the previous match day, from week 11 of the Bundesliga season. Then we're going to move on to talk about the Klassiker, which is obviously pretty difficult to avoid around the time when it's on. We will talk a little bit about RB Leipzig and the fact that they're now top of the table, um, and Eintracht Frankfurt as well, who've been having a bit of a renaissance of late. And then we'll finish the show with a couple of predictions. Looking forward to the weekend coming up, including the massive Nordderby between Hamburg and Werder Bremen. So it should be an interesting one. Stick around, have a listen, and hopefully we'll be able to entertain you. So the first game that caught our eye from last weekend was one that last season was a sort of clash for the European places. This season it's more a lower mid-table strugglers game, which was Schalke away at Wolfsburg. Schalke have been on incredible form lately, but the fact that they're still 11th, even after their 1-0 win away at Wolfsburg, shows just how bad their start was, really. But they're a team to be taken seriously now, which is a positive. Very exciting time to be a Schalke fan. 14 points on the board. Having lost their first five, they've not lost in the league since. And they've won their Europa League group already, even ahead of Thursday night's game with Nice. But yeah, they beat Wolfsburg, who are looking in not in trouble, but certainly going the wrong way down the table. That's now 6 defeats on the season for them, fifth bottom. And it was rumored today that they'd said they would sell Draxler. The conditions at the club have gone that badly that they're considering selling their prize asset in attacking midfield. Which, it's very strange to think that they were second a couple of years ago and um, they're now such a long way down the league. And really, there's only teams that are doing incredibly badly below them. Um, so you have to question what's going on with Wolfsburg, how they've managed to drop off so quickly. Maybe Naldo was just as important as everyone thought he was, even at the age he was getting to. Um, but yeah, so that was the one that caught my eye. Axel, you had a look at a different game, which was Hoffenheim against Hamburg.
Yeah. Hi, by the way. I
Sorry.
think I think that game was a very interesting game in many ways because I went into it thinking that Hoffenheim would batter Hamburg and win with like 3-0. And the first 10, 15 minutes looked like they would. They looked very dangerous on every attack, and Hamburg looked as horrible defensively as they've done all season. However, when one of their most important players this season, Kieran Vogt, got injured, the play was a bit. They had to put a centre back, Emin Bicacic, I think it's called, in central defense, and the role of Kevin Vogt is the same role as Hasebe has in Frankfurt, for example, same role as Hummels had last season for a while. The ball playing centre back, the one who's going to start the attack thingy in a 3-4-3 or 3-4-2-1 formation that Hoffenheim uses. And when he got injured and he wasn't able to play anymore, of course the play wasn't as thought through, wasn't as wide and as broad as it was when Falk was on pitch. And Chachis is a very good defender, but he's not the same kind of player. He's very good at defending, but he's not that good at passing. And neither is Hübner or Schüler, even though both are very good defenders. They're not really ball-playing defenders as Kevin Vogt is. And I think Kevin Vogt's brilliance and his importance for Hoffenheim was kind of noted by most in this game, where after he was injured, Hoffenheim really did struggle, and they even conceded against Hamburg at home through a Kostic goal, which was interesting to see. But then again, due to the horrible defense of Hamburg, they couldn't avoid conceding goal, and Wagner scored once again. And the second half, once again, horrible defending and a horrible goalkeeper from Matenia, who was very good last season, I thought. And they conceded once more and 2-1, and then Hamburg actually came back through Nikolai Müller, probably their best player by a lot of miles this season. Equalized in the 80th-ish minutes, and then the game was done and dusted. It was a very, very important point for Hamburg, because now they can kick on from here, and they have a quite easy game up next year. Bremen.
Well, easy. It's a derby. Derbies are never easy.
Yeah, true. Well, easier than Hoffenheim away.
This is true. I was very surprised they scored 2 goals. I mean, considering they've only scored 6 all season, to go to Hoffenheim and get 2 was really quite surprising.
Yeah, it was. So I was
yeah.
both impressed and surprised, and once again I was impressed by how bad Hamburg's defending was, but I was also impressed by how well they actually did play sometimes during the game, especially during the second half.
Yeah. Okay. And we'll just finish off our preview section or review before the start. Anyway, with Mainz winning 4-2 against Freiburg. That was a very impressive performance and a very exciting game. Mainz went into a 2-0 lead before half time, including a Mali penalty. But it really kicked off after half time with Grifo pulling one back for Freiburg, and then Stefan Bell extending Mainz's lead again in the 82nd minute. So that was 3-1. Then Nils Peterson in the 85th minute reduced it back to 3-2. And it's a very exciting final 5 minutes, very frenetic ending to that game, and Karim Onisiwo finished it off 4-2 in the 95th minute. So that takes Mainz up into 8th. They're doing very well. They're only a few points behind that group of 5 teams on 21 points, from Dortmund down to Frankfurt, all of them on 21. And 3 of them also on +7 goal difference. So it's very, very tight around those Europa League places, from the edge of the Champions League places through to the end of the Europa League. All of those teams on the same number of points. And yeah, Freiburg are still doing well. They're in 10th, ticking along nicely back in the Bundesliga, doing themselves plenty of favours, getting some good results, but unfortunately weren't able to take anything from that 6-goal thriller away in Mainz. But things are looking positive for both of those teams. And Mainz, we were saying, like with Connor last week, looking pretty good considering the replacements they've had to make to the squad. Certainly dealt with it better initially than Schalke did, and possibly even really Dortmund, given the budget that Mainz are operating on. They've dealt with their losses far better. So yeah, positives for both of those teams, even if the didn't quite end up 3-3 and give everyone a share of the spoils. But yeah, that was an exciting game. So we'll move on to the main part of the show now, where we're going to talk about a number of things, including RB Leipzig and Eintracht Frankfurt. But we might as well start off with a short look at what happened on Saturday evening when Bayern Munich played away against Borussia Dortmund in the Klassiker. Very interesting game. Axel, what was your take on that 1-0 victory for Dortmund?
I wasn't too surprised, to be honest. I actually predicted a Dortmund win, but I didn't think it would be this easy.
Yeah,
Cause
it was easy, wasn't it? That was the surprising bit, how easy it was.
Because I mean, we have seen this season that Bayern have struggled against tight defenses and struggle with deep defenses, and when they have to play like this kind of Guardiola style, they struggle. Somehow they do struggle, and it's like it was more or less a copy of the game against Atletico Madrid in the Champions League. It was more or less the exact same kind of game, and they did more or less the exact same thing, and they couldn't break through. And Dortmund did exactly the same thing as Atletico Madrid did. They countered and defended very well. And as I said, it was lots a lot easier than I had expected it to be, because I expected Bayern to press higher, to try harder. To be honest, it didn't look like they actually did try. And
Mm.
I mean,
It was a very
Dortmund,
strange performance, wasn't it?
yeah, definitely. Dortmund's performance was perfect in many
Yeah.
aspects of the game. They pressed very, very well in the beginning of the game and got to the goal, which was imperial for them. They got this first goal, so they could defend. Because I do not think Dortmund would have been happy with 0-0, to be honest. But with 1-0, of course, they are happy and they can sit back and defend.
To be honest, I did not see them keeping a clean sheet, so I wouldn't have been happy with. If I was a Dortmund fan, I wouldn't have been happy with 1-0.
Mm,
Um, they got pretty well, not lucky, but that Alonso left foot
yeah,
strike in the
definitely.
that was such a good hit.
Yeah,
I mean, when the goalkeeper just stands there, even though it's from so far out with his weaker foot, just stands there and watches it, and the way it dipped and hit. Oh,
mm,
Alonso is one of my favorite players. I really love watching him play. It's always just a really good feeling whenever he gets the ball. You're just looking forward for that like long diagonal ranging pass like Gerrard used to do for Liverpool. But
yeah.
oh,
He
Alonso is just one of those players that always gives me like really good feeling whenever he gets the ball.
he does still have this kind of a problem that Gerard had his last few years as well. That he's a bit his technical ability has, well, when under pressure, it's gone down a bit, and he's not as calm and as composed as he was a few years ago. It was 2 years ago.
Mm,
It was
I don't
amazing.
know. I don't know. He's very rarely under pressure. Like you see him, he gets the ball and he gets rid of it. There was that one mistake in the second half when he played Aubameyang in with a bad
All right,
back pass.
that was him. Because
But I don't know. I kind of the way he reacted to that, it was almost like he looked up, seen the defender was there, and by the time he'd gone to pass to it, whoever it was he was passing to had run away because he kind of he looked up and went, "Oh, what?"
yeah. Mm.
So I don't know. I'm making excuses for him because he's one of my, as I say, one of my favorite players. So
Yeah, I mean
I'll let him off anything really. But
he's a very very good player. He looks very very good in a suit as well, which is often
yes,
good.
he does. His
And
family's
yeah, and but
just we'll finish this loving now. Let's carry on with the
yeah,
match review.
let's.
All right. So what do you reckon this means for the Bundesliga then? So Dortmund are back in the title race. Do you reckon?
Possibly.
6 points off Leipzig, 3 points behind Bayern.
Possibly. I right now I can't see Leipzig losing. To be honest, they've been a bit too good for a loss to occur. But things can happen, and I still think Bayern will win the league. But
Mm.
I do think Dortmund can threaten, as well as all those teams at 21 points. I think can threaten until like March at least, which is remarkable to see, which is very fun to see for the league, because this means that we'll have some intensity left in April and May,
Mm.
and that's perfect. And yeah, I mean it's of course a very good thing for German football that Dortmund beat Bayern. It's always a good thing, and it was like um, a Swedish journalist wrote this that when after this game, Alarm said like, well, this was what everybody wanted.
Yeah.
And that was a bit like in the movie Gladiator, where Maximus, played by Russell Crowe, throws his sword and screams, "Are you not entertained?" It's a bit, the same um, well, saying that. Okay, well, this is what you want, isn't it? Yeah, I think it's a good thing. Of course, it's a
Yeah.
good thing, and I
Yeah.
like.
I think there's still like we're still yet to see the best of Bayern this season though. I don't think anyone would argue with me on that one. I'm not making any sort of controversial claims there. I just mean there are definitely more gears for them to go through. Ancelotti teams perform better than this. I can imagine he had words after that performance. He's not usually the sort of manager to get annoyed at people, but I can imagine he did after that. Um, and I just think we're going to see them go through the gears in the next few weeks, and maybe it'll take them a couple of weeks. Maybe they'll have to bring someone in January. I could see them bringing in a sort of an energetic midfielder. If Vidal is, if he's going to be out injured a bit, they might bring in someone in his sort of mould. But
Darida.
whatever it is, I think they'll do something that means they'll still win the title this year. I can't see Leipzig keeping this up all season because they've got a very young team, and they faltered at the end of the Bundesliga, the second Bundesliga season last year, and ended up not winning the title there. And that was a much weaker competition.
Yeah.
Teams tend to come on stronger in the second half of the Bundesliga season anyway, so I think we'll see Bayern win the league still. But yeah, I guess that leads us nicely into talking about RB Leipzig, who remain unbeaten. Hoffenheim are the other unbeaten team. There's only two left after that Bayern defeat to Dortmund. I don't think anyone predicted it would be those two, who would be left unbeaten after 11 games. But Hoffenheim, obviously, they're doing well. But yeah, RB Leipzig are very, very impressive right now. And I think that personally, I think they got a bit lucky on Friday night. Leverkusen had that game in the bag, and Çalhanoğlu really badly let his side down with a pretty terrible penalty, really. Um, but but that was the turning point, and they went from 2-1, potentially 3-1, to coming back and winning 3-2 in the last few minutes. And it was a very impressive performance by Leipzig in the final few minutes. They certainly took the game to Leverkusen in a tough away game. It's not an easy place to go, and get points. And yeah, they're flying high. Got a very impressive attacking line. I have to say, I'm not. I'm sold on Werner, but I'm not as sold on Werner as I am on a lot of the other players in the Leipzig team.
Yeah.
Which I don't know what your opinion is on that, but I was tempted to maybe write a piece this week on 5 players in their team better than him.
Werner.
Because I reckon you could easily find 5 players that are better than Timo Werner in that Red Bull Leipzig team.
Yeah. Of course.
I mean, I can think of 3 or 4 off the top of my head without really trying. Keita, Sabitzer, Forsberg, and Oblak. For me, those 4 are the key for Leipzig this year. You've got the creativity of Sabitzer and Forsberg, the defensive solidity of Oblak, and the captain as well, of course. He's doing really well. And
Oblak.
Keita. Sorry?
Oblak.
Is it his name? Oblak? I keep getting this wrong. Oblak's the goalkeeper for Atletico, is he?
Yeah.
I forgot his name.
Bulashi.
No, it definitely begins with an O. The captain.
Okay. Kompa. Isn't it captain? Kaiser. It's captain.
Is he?
Yeah. Used to be.
Okay. Anyway, the
Orban.
centre back.
In
The centre back. Oblan, that's it.
Orban.
Oblan.
Okay. Orban. Okay. Orban.
That's the
Right.
one. Sorry.
Right.
Not Oblak. Not
Yeah.
not the Atletico goalkeeper. We're not going to go for that. Yeah. Oh, the vice captain. Yeah. Sorry. Well, Kaiser's been on the bench a lot this year. Who's the actual
Sure.
captain?
Okay. That's true.
But Orban's been starting most of the games and has therefore been captain, I guess. So. But yeah, no, just from a personal point of view, there's a number of players in that team that are very impressive, and they're going really well, and it's going to be difficult to stop them for sure. They've got another tough game this Friday, another tough away game in Freiburg. It's 2 Fridays running. They've got to go to difficult places and try and get points. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah, so they're the ones to watch at the moment. But a team to watch that maybe weren't a team to watch last year is your favourite Eintracht Frankfurt. So go ahead and wax lyrical on what's changed, because they're playing some incredible football at the moment. And you said the difference between when they played Werder Bremen last season and when they played Werder Bremen on Sunday afternoon. The difference is palpable. You can see it.
Yeah. The whole thing is about control for me. About controlling the game, controlling how you and the opponent are playing. Last year was more about was a bit chaotic. You never knew what team was going to win, and you what team was going to you never know what team is going to win, but you knew which team had the upper hand, and you often do that. But this game, you had no idea which team had upper hand, which you control the game. In this game, you knew from the start of the game, okay, Frankfurt will control the game. Frankfurt will dictate what happens. And well, Bremen's goal came through an amazing ball from Moisander to Grealish, which was like fantastic. It was a moment of individual brilliance more than a defensive error for Frankfurt. And Frankfurt's defense this season has been fantastic. It's been like overwhelming for me to see how well we've defended, and we'll concede 9 goals in 11 games. And Radecki has kept 5 clean sheets, which is as many as Neuer. And our defense with Vallejo and Abraham, especially. But even now, when we play with a 3 at the back, with Hasebe in the middle as kind of a controlling, we have actually gained control in these hard away games and hard games at home as well, against like Bayern Munich and Cologne. And it's all about control, about controlling the game, controlling what happens on the pitch, controlling what happens with your team. And Frankfurt, through Kovac, they've done that in a magnificent way, as well as he's gotten the best out of plays who last season maybe weren't as good. For example, Timothy Chandler, who last season were more or less benched for the whole season, and they played with Axel or the other players on the right flank. And it's Chandler, for example, he's been like that for a few years now. Since he arrived at the club, since he returned to the club, he's actually born in Frankfurt, Chandler. He's returned to the club in 2013. He's been sat on the bench for half the time, in the stands. When Armin Fair was manager, he rarely played like a minute. But now under Kovac, he's managed to get something extra out of Chandler by playing him as this kind of a right wing back in this 3-4-2-1 formation, and he's now got the freedom to roam both mentally, and he's a very good defender, of course, as he is a right back, can defend. And through that, we have kind of this Schalke-ish system where we have 2 wing backs who can play in both flanks, because Oshipka, his left foot is more or less against right foot. Chandler can play in both flanks as well. They're comfortable with playing on both flanks, and they can and will do most things, both in attack and defense. I think the change of formation and the change of stability in the defense has made team in attack more secure. They know that they can attack because they're not afraid of conceding. It's been wonderful to see us actually attack teams and grab games by the neck, because it's been a while that that happened. And add that to the goal scoring ability of Maya, the creative ability of Marco Fabian and Mijat Gacinovic, and the tactical brilliance of both Hasebe and Shamil Kushti, and you have quite a formidable team. And this is all, in my opinion, all through Nico and Robert Kovac.
Cool. Yeah, it's looking good for them, isn't it? We'll have to see how the season carries on, whether they can keep that up in sort of the same way that we keep asking whether Hertha Berlin and Cologne and Hoffenheim and everyone else, whether they can keep it up. But there's a lot of teams doing very well.
Yeah,
a lot of teams overachieving, or even slightly overachieving. I mean, Cologne, we were picking out Cologne as a potential Europa League candidate this season, and they've managed to live up to that. It's been pretty impressive. And you've seen a lot of struggling big teams. You know, Schalke, Bayer Leverkusen, Mönchengladbach, Wolfsburg. I mean, 3 out of 4 of those are in European competition. I don't know how much that's got to do with it. But you know, there's some big clubs that are really not doing very well. And then there are some big clubs that haven't been doing well that are still not doing well. Hamburg and Werder Bremen being the 2 obvious ones there. But it's nice. It's nice to see a bit of variety. It's nice to see some different clubs doing well. This is why the Bundesliga is in my opinion, the most competitive league. It might not be. I mean, this season it is as well. It might not usually be the one with the most teams competing for the title, but there's not many leagues where you can say 10, 11 teams could qualify for Europe.
Yeah. Right.
And 10, potentially 11 different teams each year as well. I mean, we talk about Augsburg sometimes. We talk about Mainz sometimes. We talk about Cologne sometimes. You know, they're different teams every year. New people that can come in and do that sort of thing. So it's an exciting time for the Bundesliga. And if it wasn't for the way that RB Leipzig were owned, I don't think anyone would have any problems with them being up there at
Yeah.
all.
Right.
If they were still known by their original name, then I think they'd be in the same position as Hoffenheim. They'd be severely disliked, but there wouldn't be this massive outcry. So we'll see. We'll see whether they fade like Hoffenheim did, because they were the first season they came up. They did the similar thing. Started off really well and faded off as the season carried on. But we'll see how it goes. Did you want to talk about Cologne before we wrapped up?
Yeah. Just
Yeah.
now mention that Peter Stöger is one of the most underrated geniuses in his world, and he has amassed a perfect team for that club. It's a very nice team to watch, very nice team very nice club, and seems like they're really onto something this season, more than last season. And I think this game against Gladbach kind of showed that. They broke Gladbach's amazing home record, and yeah, really made a statement through that absolutely fantastic goal from Risse in the 92nd, like 3rd minute. And they really made a statement that, okay, Gladbach, we are the better team this season. We are now the bigger team. And yeah, it was nice to see. Always good to see Cologne do well. Like that game, truly. Hopefully now under Schubert will get fired. Hopefully, I genuinely
That's
can't.
very harsh, calling. Hopefully someone will lose their job is a very bitter thing to say.
It is. But I mean, under Schubert, it's for me he's almost the worst manager in the league.
Yeah.
Genuinely, how can you transform such a good defense into such a horrible defense?
Yeah.
It blows my mind. Absolutely blows my mind. And they haven't even lost a player in this defense. They've just bought themselves horrible players, which is absolutely mind blowing. Absolutely mind blowing. And I'm pretty sure it's down to him, because before him they did it very well defensively, even though they still had Max Eben. Now they have Lucien Favre. Now they have Schubert, and well, things haven't gone as good as I would possibly have hoped. Because Gladbach is also a very nice club, so I would like them to step up, but I'm pretty sure they can't do that without Andrew Schubert.
Cool. I would agree. I mean, I wouldn't say hopefully he gets sacked, but for the good of the club,
Yeah, right.
it would be nice if he was removed from his duties.
Yeah. That's basically the same
Basically
thing I
the same
said,
thing,
but
but still.
in a nicer way.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm gonna be more diplomatic about it.
Yeah. Okay. Fine.
Cool. So to wrap up, then we'll have a look at the games that are coming up this weekend. There's only really one candidate for the biggest game of the weekend. That is, of course, the Nordderby between the two struggling sides, Hamburg and Werder Bremen. So Hamburg, as we said earlier, got that 2-2 draw away at Hoffenheim. So they're, does that count as being in form? Out of the two of them, they picked up a point most recently.
Yeah, that's probably.
So Hamburg is slightly more in form than Werder Bremen. Both are abject. I mean, I don't know. If I was a fan of one of those two, this derby is huge.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, if you lose this, do you just resign yourself to that being it? That's
more
sort
or less.
of. I mean, at least until Christmas, there's nothing more to look forward to.
No.
And then after that, see what happens in January, and if there aren't radical changes to who's in the squad, you can quite easily see both of them going down. I mean, I don't understand how clubs that size can be so badly mismanaged.
Yeah.
And just that, so badly mismanaged for so many years. I mean, for as long as I've been watching the Bundesliga, these are clubs that, you know, in the past have won titles, have competed at the highest level in Europe, have had some really world-class players playing for them, and now they're awful. And like to be a fan of one of those two would be an absolutely horrible experience at the moment, especially when you can see that with good management, a club can go okay, good management and more money than everyone else. But the two clubs aren't exactly poor. And
No.
like Leipzig have gone from, the seventh division or whatever it was when they were taken over. They were a long way down in the regional leagues, and they've taken 6, 7 years to get to the very top of the Bundesliga. And there's Hamburg and Werder Bremen with all these years of history and vast amounts of money at their disposal, or there should be at least, given the fan base and the ability to generate revenue that should be there. It's embarrassing. Like you'd have to be questioning what's going on at the top level. Um, Other clubs have had dips. They've had moments where it's gone badly and then it's got better again. And obviously,
Mm.
there are other clubs that have come up through the leagues, and there are some big clubs from the past that are, stuck in the second division and can't
Yeah.
really get going.
Yeah. Right.
But
I
none of them are as big as Hamburg. None of the
no.
clubs in the second division are getting 57,000 every week.
No. Correct. Correct. Um, it's more or less impressive to see how people still do have this kind of passionate support for these two clubs. It's impressive because I mean Frankfurt were horrible last season, but if Frankfurt would have been horrible year after year after year, and I'll just sit there and just wait for them to get relegated, I'll
Yeah,
get tired after like 5 or 6 years.
yeah,
Still, I mean, I would still, of course, be a fan of them, but I would my interest would cool. The same with almost every club I've ever cheered on. If I mean that's how it is. I mean, if my club would play horrible for season after season and not get relegated, I would of course my interest would of course cool. And it's amazing to see how these fans are still as passionate about the club as they
mm,
were before this happened.
yeah.
Before these clubs were this probably mismanaged, and that's refreshing to see because it's rarely seen nowadays in football. So I'm I feel sorry for him, but I'm still impressed by him. And yeah, I mean, as I said, this derby is something special this year because if Bremen win, then Hamburg. Oh well, it seems like right now, Darmstadt and Bremen are Hamburg's only hope.
Mm, of course. I
And
mean, and Darmstadt being down there, I mean, you feel sorry for them because they're a small club and they're really overachieving.
yeah,
Um, but I still kind of, if it leads to massive change at Hamburg and Bremen, you happily see Darmstadt stay up and watch those two go down.
yeah, sure, sure.
It's just,
And yeah,
it's so frustrating.
yeah,
I mean, I'm not even that closely tied to either club. Hamburg was one of the first teams I went to watch, and I really love their atmosphere at their ground. It's a really good ground to go to.
mm,
But yeah, I mean, just someone needs to sort it out. Someone needs to go in there and basically purge the squad and not quite start again, but almost.
Felix Magath, that would be something.
I mean, anyone, really, anyone that. I don't think it's the coaches. I think any of the coaches that have been there over the last, 15 years would probably be all right. I'm sure Hamburg fans will be able to let me know that I'm wrong on that. There were probably some terrible ones, but there were also some reasonable ones in there that got sacked
Yeah,
because they were doing averagely with a very, very poor set of players.
yeah, that's true. That's true.
Anyway, moving on from that sort of mini rant, there's a couple of other big games. Bayern Munich are at home to Bayer Leverkusen. They've got a Champions League clash with Rostov tomorrow, um, which should be hopefully fairly easy for them. Should get them back onto winning ways. Leverkusen obviously struggling for form. They are playing currently against CSKA Moscow in Russia. They're 1-0 up, heading towards
Oh,
half time.
that's nice.
Um,
I I do hope for them this game because if they win and Monaco beat Tottenham, then Tottenham will get eliminated from Champions League. So I would like
Yeah.
that. Hopefully. Yeah, and it's a very interesting game, these two, because Leverkusen are in up and down form. Right now, they're in horrible form. Really bad form, at least. But if they do win this game, they'll be back on track. And of course, Julian Brandt is a fantastic player. One of the best prospects in the world right now, in my opinion.
Do you see how low his release clause is?
Yeah, 12.5 million.
Ridiculous.
But I think it's only eligible from like summer 2018. So, but still, it's amazing, and it's like Mahmoud Dahoud's release clause is like 8.5 million.
Yeah,
So
it's tiny.
Yeah, it's tiny. But which would be amazing because I mean Dahoud is more or less right now in today's market worth at least 20 million, which is amazing.
Yeah, because teams are buying on potential, and the potential is certainly there for him to be worth.
Yeah, right. And
the sort of Cruz money.
Julian Brandt's quality itself is, in my opinion, worth at least like 20 million. But his potential, well, considering Sané went for 45 million ish.
I think it was a bit less than that.
Okay, yeah, 40 ish.
Yep.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Julian Brandt go for like, if it wasn't for this race class, like 50 million, because his potential and his quality combined, it's fantastic. So yeah, 12.5 million for Julian Brandt would be well insane. And I'm quite sure that Leverkusen will try to raise that through a new contract, but I'm not too sure that Julian Brandt will accept. As I said, they have an amazing attacking side, Leverkusen, and their defense is sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not. Away at Bayern, it's always hard, and this game will be no exception. But considering Bayern have struggled in attack, struggled for real attack, and a bit in defense as well, more than you would have expected them to, which makes this game quite interesting because things could happen. You've seen worse teams than Leverkusen go to Bayern and actually win. You've seen bigger shocks than that, and both are in terrible form right now. So possibly something could possibly happen, but I still think Bayern will win this game.
Yeah.
Not too comfortably, but it will win 2-1 or 1-0.
Yeah. All right, and finally, we'll just have a quick. What are your thoughts on Frankfurt hosting Dortmund?
Very interesting. This is probably one of the more interesting games of the weekend, together with these other two games that we mentioned, of course. Considering that both teams are on the same points, both teams are in form, we say, but the thing is, if this game would have been in Dortmund, you would have predicted a definite Dortmund win due to the power of Signal Iduna Park, Westfalenstadion, and Frankfurt's away record isn't as good as their home record, even though it's decent. But at Waldstadion, or Commerzbank Arena, of course, it's something different. I generally could see Frankfurt win this game because last season Frankfurt were in horrible form, and they won 1-0 at home against Dortmund. The season before that, they beat Dortmund once again with 2-0, I think. Alex Meyer and Arjen scored, I think. And considering this, I wouldn't be surprised if they would win because it seems like anything can happen when the two teams meet, and I'd of course love to see Frankfurt win, but I do think it would be a draw, like 1-1.
Yeah.
2-2 would be possible as well, but 1-1 seems more likely considering both teams are decent in attack and decent.
Yeah, I can't say I disagree with that. Good. Right. Well, I've just come off a very busy week. I think Axel's been reasonably reasonably busy as well, but we'll try and keep the output going. Got a couple of things to go up over the next few days. There's another couple of pieces from Alicia to go up on the Bundesliga part of the site.
I
I think we've got.
just published a piece as well.
Oh, Axel just published a piece, so there's
Um,
another thing to read.
I wrote it like this Sunday, so a few factual errors, considering a few things happened this weekend. But otherwise than that, it should be a nice read. Hopefully,
Okie dokie.
it's
And
called.
if anyone feels interested in reading about GDR football under communism, I've just finished my essay on that. So just get in touch and you can have a look.
Haha.
Not that I'm sure anyone is, but
Oh,
I just like
never know.
talking about it because I'm happy with it.
Yep.
Um, right. I think that's us done for this week. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you to Axel for your time and your knowledge as always. Um, I'll let you say bye, even if I didn't introduce you, or let you say hello right at the start. I'll let you say goodbye. So yeah, from me, it's been a pleasure as always talking to you. Join us again next week, where we'll be talking about well, plenty of things. We might have another Hamburg rant, depending on how the derby goes.
Haha.
But yeah, from me, it's goodbye, and from Axel,
Well, in what language? Latin. Okay, Latin. So, valete amici, grazie Stevia.